Teaching is often regarded as one of the best jobs in the world for that combination of making a difference in people's lives and job satisfaction. But it's not by any means an easy job. Here in the UK we have a teacher crisis, and whilst it's debated on how this will be fixed, areas such as salary, work-life balance and less time spent jumping through hoops are hot on the agenda. This makes the job a very stressful one, and teachers can be forgiven for finding themselves with low motivation, and it's understandable if you're struggling for inspiration to become a teacher if all you're hearing is about the difficulties teachers face. Now, I can't solve the teachers crisis, but what I can do is show you my top 5 films for teachers, films that will inspire, motivate and ignite that inner passion for making a difference. But when I was creating this list, I came up with 2 rules. Rule number 1, the teacher needed to have a starring role. And rule number 2, I can't use any films from the fantasy genre. So that means I can't use great teacher characters such as Miss Honey from Matilda or Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter. Such great character, great examples, but not what we need right now. But this is because I want to give you teachers that are going through very realistic and relatable issues. And in my list for top 5 films for teachers, we're looking at characters who are teachers that are going through various issues such as substance abuse to trying to make a world of difference when the world is against you. So sit back, relax and let's get into our first film.
Barry, can you stand up please? Can you tell me what 57 multiplied by 135 is? Okay.
7,695. The square root is 87.7 and change.
Now at first glance, Gifted looks like just enough a film where we're watching a child genius. Which is true, but a child genius in this case has lost her mum and is being looked after by her uncle, played by Chris Evans, but he has very strong views about not letting his niece maximise her potential at the hands of academics, which at first sight seems a little bit like child abuse. How can Captain America do this? The reality is he doesn't want her childhood taken away and wants her to lead a very normal life that any child does. The reasons for this you have to find out by watching it yourself, but from a teacher's point of view, how do you balance maximising academic potential but ensuring personal and social growth in an appropriate way for a child at a certain age? How do you know what you're doing is the best for the child or the best for other people who will profit of their incredible abilities? The film will ask you a lot of questions, but will also answer them and leave you feeling happy and ready to ensure you bring the best outcomes for your students.
Growing up here in Richmond, you're 80% more likely to go to prison than college. Those are the numbers.
Next, we're looking at Coach Carter, which is more than just about basketball than you may think. The film speaks volumes about education for those at risk or vulnerable to crime and poverty, and how a sport can keep them on the right track to a successful life. Samuel L. Jackson may be regarded as a coach in this film, but he is certainly a teacher as he uses various methods to communicate to these kids. He explores non-academic subjects like dedication, discipline and hard work as the backbone to leading a more successful life. Throughout this film we explore how he connects with these kids through the interest of basketball to influence other areas of their life. Well worth watching for any teacher looking to connect through sports or who have students exposed to the world of crime and deprivation.
This machine is keeping me down. Now, what is that? What keeps us from being free? Miss Dre.
Prisons.
Absolutely.
The school.
The school. Exactly. The whole education system.
Aren't you the machine then?
Oh, no, you didn't.
It's understandable that teachers are expected to be role models, but they're human like everybody else, and when under a lot of pressure, things can go wrong. I think Ryan Gosling in Half Nelson helps us recognise that whilst on the outside teachers can look faultless, there can be a lot going on the inside, and for Ryan Gosling, it's only in the classroom that he is put together, but everywhere else in his life, it isn't in the most ideal place. The film also highlights the responsibilities teachers have to those they teach, and why it is important to have a close relationship with pupils and be someone they can trust. Half Nelson really is something different, and I think teachers under stress can really relate to Ryan Gosling, especially if you find yourself unfortunately relying on substances or other vices to get you through the day.
This'll sound strange, Billy, but for some time now I've been thinking of the Royal Ballet School.
Aren't you a bit old, miss?
No, not me, you. I'm the bloody teacher.
Now, I don't know about you, but I absolutely loved Billy Elliot, and I love his teacher, Mrs. Wilkinson. If you don't know, Billy Elliot is the story set in the early 80s about an 11-year-old boy who becomes a professional ballet dancer through the support of a ballet dancer teacher who realises his talents. Now, even today, when there is so much tolerance,
What's wrong with ballet?
What's wrong with ballet?
boys wishing to be ballet dancers can still come under scrutiny, so you can only imagine the difficult time Billy has in 1980s Britain, especially as his family are suffering financially in the midst of the coal strike, and he has a very macho father who wants to see him boxing rather than dancing. It truly is a fantastic film, and Mrs. Wilkinson is a fantastic teacher who brings out the best in Billy. But if I can just say, Billy dancing in front of his dad in a moment of this is who I am and who I want to be is one amazing scene, and he couldn't have done it without his teacher.
We're going to talk about Shakespeare as someone who writes something very interesting. Now, many of you have seen Shakespeare done very much like this. "O Titus, bring your friend hither." But if any of you have seen Mr. Marlon Brando, know that Shakespeare can be different. France, Romans, countrymen, let me rest. You can also imagine maybe John Wayne as Macbeth going, "Well, is this a dagger I see before me?"
So, I don't like to put films in order, but if I did, I think Dead Poets Society would be at the top. It's often said that it's one thing to teach and a completely other thing to be a teacher. Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society is what every teacher needs to watch, not just to be a copycat, but just to be yourself. Robin Williams plays a teacher that genuinely cares about his children, who doesn't change himself no matter what the school would prefer him to be like as a teacher. He inspires a class to be themselves, teaches them life skills, but most importantly, builds a relationship that enables him to really make a difference in these children's lives. The film is also good for recognising how schools need to be setting children free to be whoever they want to be, and not further locking them down through strict rules on culture and forcing them down the path they may not have any interest being on. If you are to watch just one film in this list, I recommend this one. So that was my top 5 films for teachers, and I hope I've got some of them added onto your watch list. And if you're a teacher, I really hope it's helped you, or if you're looking into teaching, I really hope they've inspired you. Now, it was painful not to include some certain films. For example, School of Rock is a brilliant film, but also The Kindergarten Teacher, also brilliant, as well as X plus Y. The issue with X plus Y, as well as it's a fantastic film, I didn't feel like the teacher had enough of a starring role. But that's enough from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more. My name's Joshua. This is Let's Talk Education, and I hope to see you next time. So sorry, Matilda. And rule number two, I can't use any films from the fantasy job. Now, all the films I mentioned on this video will have Amazon affiliate links down below. So if you do want to purchase the film and support this channel, use one of those links because I do get a pretty penny.